stay single till it's...
That's the highlight of this. This is a quick intro into this podcast. There are going to be, as you can see, 4 of us. But if you're watching this on Spotify, then you're going to hear me only talking. But for the meantime, we are going to introduce the people that's going to be on this podcast. I'm going to start with myself. My name is Ali. I'm an English language coach. Also, I am a head teacher of a language school. Basically, I'm also a content creator on social media. I educate, part of lifestyle and everything else. That is my role, and that is what I am conveying today in this podcast, where English language is very important for all of us, and that's what we will be using. So that is me, and then we're gonna go to the person on my right. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name is Alper. I'm an English language teacher. I'm a literature nerd, basically. I read a lot, and I'm just here to accompany these beautiful people here to have a nice conversation.
Hello, this is Furkan Ayalis, graduated from English Language and Literature. I have been working as an English teacher for 4 years, and I'm here to share with my ideas and opinions with these beautiful guys.
Hello everyone, my name is Amir Rush. I have been working as an English teacher for 4 years. I also provide life coach lessons, and I am honored by the invitation of these guys. We will have this podcast together. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Stunning! Thank you very much for joining us. And today's topic is going to be about relationships. And let's keep in mind that the opinions, the perspective, the ideas, everything will be mentioned here today. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, it's going to be completely subjective. So it's about our own experiences and what we have experienced during our lifetime, whether it was in high school, university, or our professional life. The topics is going to be divided into 7 sections or 7 segments for your information. It's going to be number 1, foundations of relationships, communication and connection, modern dating and love, the role of expectations and compromise. So now we're going to start with a brainstorming regarding the foundation of relationship. For you guys, or for myself as well, I'm included, what is the foundation of relationships? Whether it was a romantic, a professional, or a friendship. So what's your insight on that?
I mean, a foundation of a relationship, no matter what kind of relationship it is like interest in the other person, right? Because if you don't have any kind of interest in the other party, then there wouldn't be any attempt to have that kind of a connection which would then lead to a relationship between that person and you. Whether that be a romantic kind of relationship or a relationship that you have a friendship between your colleagues or some other guy that you meet somewhere else. So the first thing that something must attract you in that person.
Right.
Maybe the way they speak, maybe the thing they talk about, or just the things that you have in common. And then you will be like, alright, if I have a word with this guy, I can maybe learn something new, or I want to listen to this guy talking about something. It could be anything, right? And then it starts from there and moves on to all kind of different directions.
So the key element is interest in the other person.
Yeah, I believe so.
What's your input after Alper's input on the fact that relationship starts with interest?
The most part I agree with, of course. The significant part is retaining and sustainable thought relationship. For example, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Is there anything that you cannot talk about, like processly, and you just stuck with one topic, you just stuck with monotonous life, he or she, it doesn't matter. You have to talk and you have to retain the relationship with giving yourself, giving each other.
True. It needs to be mutual, you said.
Yes, definitely.
You have to speak with each other, everything, and not hiding or being secretive or something like that.
Definitely, for sure. And the thing is, when you're in a relationship, you have to think like that. Relationship is not an entity to distract you. It has to construct you. So it means that when you are not feeling the feeling of destructive, feeling of being how could I say, like despised, you feel
You're like a toxic relationship.
Yes.
Yeah? Nowadays we see that a lot, and many people still experience toxic relationship, but they cannot get out of it.
couldn't agree more. And if you feel like you are gaining the valuable things, you feel that you're worth of it, and it gets retaining and retaining more. So then you will have the relationship that's goes on, that
Sure.
sustain more. I
That's
guess.
beautiful. So interest, sustaining a relationship. So technically, we're talking about ingredients of a strong relationship. We can
Definitely.
Yeah.
say. Could there be another ingredient we can add to the table?
It's different from one person to another. I think like you have to have a full conversation with yourself. What really interests me? For example, some people they say, in order for me to go into a relationship, I need to be walking with someone that looks nice, smells nice. Their mouth smell is supposed to be nice.
I must mention something quite interesting. There is a podcast I listened to recently, which is a diary of CEO, mentions the fact that this could be one of the reasons that a lot of people leave each other.
Other people they look at the mindset. Other people they look at the occupation. So economical situations, wherever it is. So I think it's very important when you say I am in a relationship, I am friends with this guy or that person. Why? Like what do you want? What is the goal? What is the aim of this relationship?
That's very nice mentioning that. The next question talks about investment in a person.
Yeah.
And that requires what do you want from that person, because you're going to
Exactly.
spend your time, emotion,
Yes.
feelings, whatever there. So I wonder if that is part of investment in
100%.
that person.
Also, Alper, we were talking one day about journalizing and how important it is to have to do this journalizing on a daily
Absolutely.
basis. So I believe if journalizing is a part of, you don't need to sit down and write on a paper. Maybe you
Yeah.
can just have a 10 minutes in your day just thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Not to the extent of making everything difficult and complicated. No, in the extent of understanding yourself.
When we talk about relationship, we talk about love mainly, because friendship love, romance love, career, colleagues, and everything else. Compatibility or commitment? Which one do you think about more connected to love?
I think, if I may, you cannot separate them from each other, because if you want to have a real relationship that can work out, that could be sustainable for a long period of time, which is the like basis and fundamental of the relationships. Because if you don't think that you're going to be like pursuing the same kind of interest in the other person and having that relationship last over years, then why getting into that relationship in the first place, right?
Makes sense.
So
100%.
in terms of achieving that kind of a long-lasting relationship status, you have to have both compatibility and also commitment as well.
So we are talking about love, right? So I'm not gonna go what is love and all of this. We can talk about it later on. But when I say which one is more important, is it connecting with the other person or is it commitment? I believe I agree that in a certain point that both of them are completing each other. But I also believe you don't need to 100% agree with the person in order for you to have a relationship with him. For example, we are all here together. We are friends, colleagues. We are been together for a long time. So, are we having everything in common? No. Do we have so many, let's say, different things, different hobbies, different interests that we have? But we still have a successful and nice, healthy relationship. Let's say, for example, Alper, he loves basketball. I love football. So when he wants to play basketball, I don't need to come up and say, no, let's go play football and stuff like that. No, I'll say, okay, this time let's play basketball, even though I don't like basketball. When I say I want to play football, he will also not disagree with that. He will say, okay, this time let's go for football. So we don't need to be 100% compatible. We just need to have a little bit of empathy, showing understanding, showing that it is okay, this time we can do this time we can do this. And
from my side, it seems like sacrifice.
if I use the term sacrifice, it will be showing that I am putting the effort every time. Like, at a certain point, I will say, I sacrifice some, like when we have an argument with each other,
right?
I will say that I sacrificed all this for you. And then he will go, or she will go, and she will say...
Maybe that's the norm. Sorry to interrupt. Maybe that's the norm of the word
relationship.
sacrifice. No, the norm of the sacrifice is that I gave so much effort for you. Maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's about I like having that relationship with you, and because of that, I want to go to play with you football or basketball.
Yes.
It doesn't matter for me what's my favorite game. I just want to spend time more with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if I change the mindset of the definition of sacrifice, which was putting something or giving something away from myself, I will rearrange it and I will give it a definition that I'm sacrificing for you, which comes by the meaning that I am watering our relationship together.
You mentioned about communication and compatibility. The thing is, if you are not that much compatible, the person that you're in a relationship with may say, okay, for example, like your example, I can say, now I want to listen, or I want to go that bar, I want to go to coffee and drink some coffee. And she can say, or he can say, no, I hate drinking coffee, I want to drink beer or something,
Right.
another thing. And think that the time progress, and the more you disagree with each other, the more you separate. So you have to communicate with each other, but you have to, in some point, you have to be compatible. Okay, you can have some contrastive ideas, contrastive opinions as well. It's, of course, it is also important because it makes you bring them together.
That's brilliant. You spoke about communication and connection, and that is the second segment that we have here. How could a communication and connection shape our relationship?
In order for us to have a lively relationship, we have to disagree with each other. It's a question for you guys. Like, would you go in a relationship with the same version of yourself? Same version of the same common habits and hobbies, the same lovely things, the same disagreements, the same things that you hate and you love.
Almost like we're going to be competitors with each other, because that's so much similarities that you almost like, I'm gonna do this, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this, like I don't think that's helpful.
It's like, like
from my perspective,
we're males,
yeah.
we're males, let's say you are literally the same but as a female version.
In one point, actually, you can have a relationship with the same version of yourself. Even you are making disagreement with your own tones as well. So, even for example, you want to eat something, you ask yourself what I'm going to eat. Do I want pizza? No, I don't want pizza. Do I want sushi? No, I don't want sushi. So, even you disagreement with yourself, so it means that you are going to disagreement, and you will have contrastive ideas with the person that your relationship with, the same version of yourself.
There is a guy called Mo Gadwat on, again, Diary of a CEO. He was mentioning that I name my brain picky or another name because the ideas that I have and the ideas that my brain has are two different things, so we always have a conflict.
Definitely.
And that's when you mentioned the fact that even yourself you have that idea, it's very interesting. But I wonder about, what do you think?
I mean, like personifying your own self into someone, another person.
A female version that you're going in a relationship with. Would that be fruitful?
That guy does the same thing with picky, or he like envisions that person as a male.
True.
Or female.
True. No, as a thing, as a different entity that exactly that has
so
different ideas and opinions and most likely more risky.
Got it.
Or
Alright.
wrong choice of word, riskier than himself.
All right. So kind of an alternate ego, something like that.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Would you like
so keep
to
yourself
meet
in check,
yourself?
or like I don't know, question some other ideas that otherwise he himself wouldn't be able to do, and perhaps take the risk for it.
But that shows how different they are then.
Yeah. But
Even though
also
yourself.
to mention and talk about what teacher Amir has been talking about in terms of being compatible with each other or not. I think that issue is, of course, you cannot be 100% compatible with anyone ever.
100%, yeah.
Like we also said that even with yourself, sometimes you contradict, right?
Sure.
Sometimes you say something, feel like doing something, and then in another second, it's almost like you are a whole different person now, and you don't want it. 100% compatibility is out of the picture.
100%,
So
I
I would
agree.
never imagine being 100% compatible, but
There is also,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go on, no problem.
There is also a scientific study that a human being,
yeah,
a kind of a mind of a human being or a personality or a character keeps on changing every 6 months.
of course, yes.
So if you ask yourself 6 months ago what I was doing or how I was thinking,
Yeah.
and 6 months later how you were, it's totally different. Why? Because the environments that you're around, the people that you're meeting, the situations that you're facing. 6 months ago I was facing, let's say, easy problems.
Yeah.
Now I'm facing way hard problems. So it changes, it shapes your character, I believe.
Of course.
So it changes then. If every 6 months you're changing, then means
Yes.
there is compatibility changes as well, because if people changes, we are changing. There's a lot of change going on, and in this case, what are you compatible with then?
But I don't think those changes that happen in 6 months' time are radical enough to make yourself more compatible with your significant other.
Interesting.
Because to be more compatible with the other person, I'm not, for example, I don't expect my, let's say, the worldview at large to be compatible or in the same kind of direction with myself. But what I mean by being compatible are sometimes very small little details that, I don't know, the decisions that we make in our everyday lives, your choice of food, your choice of
Minor
beverage, drink.
decisions.
Absolutely, those can change easily.
Yeah.
I agree. And in 6 months' time, you could have a whole different taste and a whole different spectrum for
Of
those
course.
kind of decisions. But you cannot change like completely in 6 months. So I don't think, for example, if I take that kind of logic, it means that in every 6 months time I have to sit down and think, am I still compatible with that person?
Yeah.
And that is a dangerous place to be in.
I think
Major change do not just effectively affect our mood or our compatibility in our relationship. For example, even the subtle things, even the subtle changes make someone think, am I with the same person that I will? Am I with the same person that I had? Or am I with the same person that I'm going to be? So the subtle change, and except for the major things, like having disease or some subtle things that make you think, am I going to retain the relationship? Am I going to sustain the relationship or not?
Right.
The subtle things
I
actually.
feel like sometimes we are over-communicate.
Over-communicate.
Yes,
what do you mean by
in a
over-communicate?
relationship? Like, we are thinking about compatibility and changes happening and everything else. Through that change, we're gonna communicate with other person.
Oversharing.
Being too oversharing, over-communicating, being transparent in a way that you think it might jeopardize the relationship. Is that the best policy? Sometimes I feel like being transparent is the best path that I could take in a relationship.
The thing is, if you're sharing your information, your knowledge, and your opinion so much to your the person that you're in a relationship, there is no one to wonder about it. So the person, if the person knows everything about you, why the person still struggle or try to learn more about you? They just know you're like on the package. So you have to it's a cliche, but I can say, you have to be kind of mysterious person. Imagine that you're in a cafe, or you're going to eat something. He or she already know what you're going to order. So, what's the fun? What is the thing that's appealing to in a relationship? What is the thing that you admire about the person?
Excited about maybe.
Yes, we lose the excitement. When we lose the excitement, we lose the term of love.
Interesting.
Yes.
When you lose excitement, you lose the term of love.
Yes.
So love to you is excitement.
If you the more you excite, the more you love. The more you love, the more you want to the more you want to look in depth.
I would agree if we add more element to that.
I think this is a suitable time, because he said that love equals, or love is excitement.
Sure.
So I think it's different, because to me love is not excitement. I also wanted to add that he said that you have to be mysterious in relationship. You are not supposed to show 100% of who you are.
Yes.
So you think that works only in relationships, or what do you think? Like, what scares you if you showed 100% that the other person will not accept you, or they will reject you?
Okay, that's a good point. And in that point, as we're human beings, in the old prehistoric times and the years ago, we are curious social being creatures.
Yeah.
So we always wonder about something. From all the past years, the curiosity, the wondering that happens, and that cost the humanity a lot. The thing is, when you just curious about something, when you wonder about something, you want to go in detail, you want to go in depth. So the person that your relationship, if she or he does not want to wonder you, is not curious about what you're wearing, what you're going to eat, what you're going to think, what you're going to say. So it means that knowing already a person in front of the persons that you're going to be with means nothing to you, means nothing to need to you. So curious and wondering is the key. If you're not curious about the person, you will not going to want to retain. You're not going to sustain your relationship more and more.
You know, I always had this idea of, can a human being 100% trust another human being? What I mean by trusting the other human being is that, can you fully open your heart to someone and let them in to see everything what is inside? Because as he mentioned, and I agree with him by the way, even though sometimes I meet a person and I want to open my heart to him or her, I still don't say everything. I still hold on to some things because we don't trust each other.
We call this having your guard up.
Yeah, having your guard up, but is it?
It's like not completely up, maybe half.
Yeah, but
because you don't want to drop it down so much, because that's the trust. You're gonna be exposed.
Exactly, but unfortunately, because of the time that we're living like these days, no one is capable of trusting 100% the other partner. Now I'm speaking about relationships, not friendships. Relationships that 100% you open your heart, she can read your heart, and you can read her heart, and both of you can have this absolute understanding of what's inside of your hearts together. I think that's why when he said that keep something inside, I think this thing inside, if we can take it outside, then it will take the relationship to another level, I believe.
But I don't think that Furkan actually meant things that are that deep into your soul. I think he meant something more on the surface level. For example, he said the drink that you're about to order, or the food that you prefer, or the place that you like to go on a Sunday
What would
morning.
happen if you share these things? Why the other
No, nothing would happen and nothing would come of it. Nothing bad, in my opinion. But Furkan says that if you become too predictable, if we reach a certain threshold after which I can guess your moves, I can guess your interest in ideas.
Yes.
Then
So
I
little
lose
excitement.
interest in
Yeah.
you, which is, I think, is opposite of love.
I feel like when you say I don't wanna show this 100, I don't wanna say what kind of food I love or what drinks I want to drink and stuff like that, you're hiding it, right?
No,
being-
but he doesn't say exactly I'm being mysterious, but we are trying to define love, and so we are thinking about it from our perspective and
not
what the
share
other person
everything.
is doing, and we are reacting to it. So it's not like he is hiding it, but he says, if I see that kind of predictability in the other person, then I lose interest. So we are
Yeah.
looking at from our perspective into the other soul.
So our point is losing interest. We are
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to avoid the other person to lose interest in us. What's wrong with saying that I want to eat this, I love eating that, I love drinking this, let's go to that place, that's my favorite. What's wrong with sharing every slight detail with the other person that you love? Nothing is wrong with that.
Nothing. I agree with you on
But-
yeah.
When we are not sharing for example, with normal friends or normal relationships, you are not sharing every single slight detail. Why? Because you know that they are not interested in you. Then it's not love. So when you are able, maybe till now, he believes again. This is my opinion.
Okay.
He believes that you have to be mysterious. You have to not show everything to the other partner, other person. But one day when he meets that person, or that the one that she will break this thing inside of him, that he will absolutely 100% share every single slight detail, then this mysterious glass or whatever it is, it will be broken, and this is what we call true love.
I agree because, for example, the meaning of love to me, speaking from my experiences and my own expectations, is being so close to that person that it is almost you become one. Yeah, that's the cliche of love, becoming one, being united, all sort of things, and finding your significant other.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, it is there shouldn't be any kind of veil between you and that person, and you
Yes.
should be able to see through everything
Yeah.
and see all those predictability is then also a good thing that you want to have, that you want to be able to predict it, and to see the beauty in that predictability, to see that you actually knew what that person was about to do before she did it.
Yeah.
I think that's even more beautiful, and that would make me at least think that, yeah, I made the right decision, because when I realized that whatever she does is making me happy, whatever she does is compatible with me at least to a certain point, like we discussed,
Yeah.
not 100%,
Uh-huh.
then that's makes me feel better about my opinion, that my decision that
100%.
this is the one. And that is what love is to me, not being secretive.
So the question is that do you love yourself, or you are loving the next person or the person that you are with? Because seriously, you're saying I love fish, but what do you do to the fish? Right? You just kill it, burn it, and eat it and say I love fish. No, you don't love fish. You're eating it. Where is the love in that? You're loving yourself because the fish tastes nice.
Yeah.
Right? So I believe that it's really important when I am with a person and I say I love this person. Who do you love really? Do you love the person or do you love yourself? Do you love the traits and the benefits that you're taking from this person, or do you love yourself for having these traits?
I wonder if people think like that.
I think unfortunately most of the people, they don't think like that. and they don't really understand why they love that person. And if they think like that, 95% of the population, they will end up discovering that they only love themselves actually.
Don't you think that in any kind of relationship, the basis of it is like selfishness, as in the case of loving somebody else in like a romantic relationship or spending time, and for example me loving Furkan as a dear friend, it is again selfish when you think about it. Why? Because I like this guy, I like spending time with him because spending time with him is fun.
Exactly.
Which serves me, not him. And the reason he also does the same thing is also
But
because
there's no
it serves him
selfless
as
love.
well. Absolutely, that's why I'm saying that no matter what you do, even if you try to understand where that love comes from, you will always come across selfishness in the basis. But that doesn't mean that that love isn't true love, in my opinion. As long as you understand that there is that selfishness to it, but to recognize it, but you can be alright with it and acknowledge that and still move on and care for that person, because you would also know that that person has that kind of selfishness and it's her like love's basis as well.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know if I'm right or wrong in this subject, because maybe some other people might think differently, but whenever I look into different relationships, all I see at the absolute deeper level is that selfishness, because we are trying to survive, we are trying to form relationships that will serve us, right? For example, me having this relationship with Ali is also something that serves me. Like, he's helping me grow. Like, for example, I would have never imagined me doing a podcast like this in such a situation.
Right.
Now, I'm here. I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah.
That means I am changing, that means I'm growing because of my relationship
Exactly,
with Ali.
but what I was talking about was love, like, I mean,
But
opposite
that's
gender.
the same thing.
But I think, like,
You're
If
not
you
doing
are-
it.
Don't you? I'm sorry to interrupt. Don't you have to maintain it? And if
Yeah.
okay, you're selfish, being with that person, and because it gives you some gains, and there is a reason why you have to maintain it. Otherwise, you will not continue that selfish behavior that you have. So that gives you a discipline and commitment. Also, you want that relationship to proceed
yeah.
for a long period of time, because
yeah.
I am feeding myself with that. So
Exactly.
I think it exists in every relationship.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Either we recognize it or not.
Yeah.
I think absolutely, but what I was trying to say is that if we want to take love or relationship to the next level, like just imagine. Again, I am talking from my mindset, which is perfect. It has to be.
Yeah.
Well, if we come to our reality, nothing looks like that, right? Because even if we love each other, like you're waiting something from her, and she's waiting something from you as well. But if we speak about like in a perfect sense, and maybe it's not perfect, maybe we can do that. Let's say that you give 100% and you're not expecting anything in return, and she is giving 100%. What will happen to the relationship in that time? I think it will
Explode.
It will be amazing, like explode.
Sincerely, sincerely, it will blossom.
It will be
insane.
amazing, I think.
But utopia doesn't exist.
What if she wants to centralize herself at the center? You also want yourself centralized at your center. You also want yourself at the center. She also wants herself at the center. So what is the common point? So it is also, to make long story short, it is also drives us to the compatibility, right? The communication, the compatibility. And to make long story short, all of these topics and all of the opinions that we share in here, centralizing at oneself at the center is not the solution.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we have to think thoroughly, not pretending in a relationship.
Right.
So what we have to do is being ourselves.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
so
sure.
you're taking from where I am hearing is that both of them, they want to be in the center.
Definitely.
However, that's not healthy.
Well, as an individual, we want ourselves to be center.
Right.
We want feed ourselves. We want to love ourselves. We want to having good time with ourselves. And she or another person, that relationship in the front, also wants that too.
Right.
So the point also pops up another question.
Right.
What if?
From my marriage experience, I feel like being married for 4 years and so, relationship for 5 years, it seems like excitement is important. but it's not the major part
You
of it.
can't find it every time, right?
Impossible. Boredom exists, excitement exists, everything exists, but trying to get yourself to be the center of it is incorrect. I don't think it's going to be fruitful or healthy. You have to take sometimes the sides of your like circle. If we were thinking of it as a circle and you have to be in the center, whoever wants to be in the center will end up sad, expecting everybody will be thinking of them like they are in the center, and so we cannot do that. Your point of view is very interesting. Of everyone wants to be in the center, and so if I know my partner is not in the center, I will not put myself in the center too, and so we are both meeting each other kind of in the like I don't know the corner of a circle, so to speak.
So,
Like we are almost out of our circles, meeting in a location where those two circles kind of merge together, and this is like us in the middle because those are two circles, and then this is our ego and selfishness and everything else. So that's for me a healthy relationship.
So what I understand from your speech is that we have to give two types of person: giver and the receiver.
Right.
So we automatically and mutually have to share our giver and the receiver position.
Definitely.
Definitely, right?
Definitely. This is partnership. Think about it. If we are both working in the same company, I'm giving more effort than you. Why are we both getting the rewards?
See?
It has to be half-half.
Of course.
It's a definite partnership.
So technically, if we say, let's say, we are both receivers, who's
Right.
going to give them us?
Yeah, that won't be working
Exactly.
because you're expecting to be the other person is going to be the giver, and then the other person is also expecting to receive
That's
I
something.
think if both are givers, then the problem is solved.
That's utopia you're talking about.
That's my.
Utopia.
Utopia.
Like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
perfect relationship type of
That's
thing.
exactly that. I think like
Unbelievable thing, because even if you are thinking like that, it's impossible to find another person, even if they could demonstrate that they are 100%, it will not be true. It's kind of, people are so different. Like how far you want to go to find that person who's going to be, we're talking about compatibility.
Yeah.
You're looking for somebody who has 100%. Won't happen.
no again like
I think.
for example like metaphorically ask a question is who is the most successful, who carries the most successful character in your opinions, guys? Like, is it givers, takers, or matchmakers? For me, whatever, like maybe let's start with Ali. What do you think? Givers, takers, or matchmakers first?
I think if you're a giver, I think it's optimal for me. I think you need to be a giver in a relationship because you want it to work and you want it to be happy in it.
Yeah.
And I would never go for expectations.
Beautiful.
I wouldn't want any expectation on my part. If I really like this person, if I want to be with this person for the rest of my life, I'm giving everything that I have, everything in my power to revive, excite, less boredom and everything else.
Yeah.
And if that person doesn't match me in the same energy or at least half of it, then okay, then that person doesn't want to be in my life. And so I would like, if I like this person really, I give
So you
everything.
would be a giver.
I-
What about
yeah.
your partner? What would you like her to be?
I want her to be the way she is. Because I could actually, something we are forgetting a lot, we can transmit whatever energy that we have to other partner. The other partner sees how you're behaving around them. You're
Yeah.
you're making them feeling that they are the center of everything. Automatically they will feel like, why I'm not gonna put him in the center of everything. Maybe I could put him in the center of everything. Maybe that transmission, you kind of educate your partner on putting you first for everything, putting you the center of everything, because she sees that you're putting her in the center of everything. And so I don't expect, I try to help, guide, mentor, educate in everything that I do. I think this helps a lot, especially the way I was raised. It was definitely
Like that.
indirect.
Yeah.
It's an education, it's a mentorship, it's guidance, all it's indirect, and then automatically I was able to attain it.
Beautiful.
And so that.
Alper, what do you think?
I, for the most part, agree with what Ali has said, and
You also choose like to be a giver in a relationship, not matchmaker or taker.
I mean, definitely not much like matchmaker. I'm not even exactly sure what do you mean by matchmaker. Can you
Matchmaker,
elaborate
like
on that?
when she gives, I will give. When I give, she will give.
All right. Yeah.
If she didn't give, I'm not gonna give.
No, definitely no, because my like relationship would 100% depend on how much I love that person. And love, as you may imagine, like can't do with those kind of balances and like
Yes. Not a fish love.
yeah, thinking about
Yeah.
all those things and I don't know, putting things into like sort of a scale
Yeah.
and
Too comparative.
Sure, yeah.
Like
yeah.
she gave me this. Oh, I'm gonna give her equal, not more than that. And
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
how can you match that?
No, you
I
can't.
think some
You
people
can't.
actually-
For them, they will not be thinking
Some
like
people,
that.
I met a lot of people in my life. I've seen a lot of relationships, and they don't feel like that.
Yeah.
When you ask them, they will say, "No, I am a giver. I give her this. I give her that." And when you ask her, she says the same thing. But in reality, you are giving only when he gives you, and you give
Yeah.
only when she gives you.
Mm.
Like unconsciously, they have this idea that no, I am a giver, but no, my dear, you are a matchmaker.
But that's the problem with most people. What we are talking about, it's very interesting because people don't sit down and talk. Think about if partners
Exactly.
sat down and had a
Exactly.
similar conversation.
Talk
How
is the
fruitful
best thing.
and very insightful would be.
Furkan, what do you think?
Yes, there's another question too. Giving or receiving or matchmaker. What if I have nothing to give? So
What do you
that
mean
is,
by nothing?
What do you mean by-
for example,
When you
if
give, what
I-
do you give? Feelings?
If I give all the time, what will I get receive? If I give all the time and I just run out of the things that I'm going to give everything, so I am nothing.
Who will give the giver?
Yes, what I'm going to get, what I'm going to receive, or if I choose every time of the period and every situation that I will get handed, if I give everything, so in the end of the day, in the end of the month, and the end of the year, and as you look in the end of the relationship,
That's
you
too logical.
have
What you will
nothing.
choose then?
But that's
You
too
have
logical.
nothing.
So what
Yeah.
you will choose?
You have to receive something else more and more. The more you give, the more you have to receive. The more you receive, the more you have to give the person.
So you would choose matchmaker.
I wouldn't say matchmaker because when I'm a matchmaker, it's kind of
Waiting.
Equal, like it has to be equal.
happening competitive.
Yes.
I don't want to be competitive in a relationship. I want to be, as I mentioned in the first part of my speech.
You want to be sure that when you give, you will get similar or higher if possible.
Similar.
Similar.
Yes, and the
Alright.
thing from the beginning of my speech, it should not distract you. It should construct you.
I think it's like investment kinda. When you invest, you're gonna lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Surely,
you will
sometimes
earn-
is actually not the right frequency.
all
I
the
would
time.
say often. When it comes to business, when you invest, and let's be honest, when we invest in a relationship, we're almost not knowing what's the future. How are you foreseeing the relationship?
Yes.
In some cases, you don't know. I have a friend or multiple friends where I have foreseen that, wow, this guy is perfect, great. After 1-2 years, and then you realize you are wasting your time.
That's why you don't invest into the bad or
Exactly.
companies, things.
But I never
people.
thought to myself, I'm giving everything that I have for that person in terms of time, effort, finances as well, can be, to receive the same. Because at that point, I'm not thinking, I like that person.
Yeah.
Like I wanna, like nothing, love is not logical. We sometimes have a
Absolutely.
conversation and it's completely illogical. And then when you decide to give, you're giving everything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard to
Yeah.
hold
Yeah.
back, and then
It's
unless
natural.
unless you really you see or you feel that you're not appreciated, and then you just take a very long step back.
Yeah.
That's the point that I have like a memory about it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
An example for it.
Mhm.
He said that at that point you don't like think about what you are giving and what you are receiving, and the only motivation that you have is your love for the other person.
Yeah.
And my previous relationship with my ex was like I had a certain period of time where I was exactly like that and with the same mindset, and I was in love with this girl from like my class in college. I like ran after this girl literally for 3 years, and I was friend zoned for 3 years.
In that relationship, you were a giver.
Absolutely, yeah. For 3
And
years.
she was?
Taker.
Taker,
Yeah, of
100%.
course. Yeah. And during that period, I have done so many things that I would in another time say that I would never, but I still did it. And I never questioned it. I never said that, alright, I'm doing this right now, but am I going to get rewarded for that? That wasn't my motivation.
100%.
The only motivation I had was perhaps this thing or that thing that I would do would make her smile at me, make her tell me something nice. Maybe that will make her like want to spend more time with me, and that will perhaps in the long run help me win her love, which it did.
Illogical.
Yeah, for some time.
Right.
And like I never regretted any moment, any sacrifices, anything that I've done in any period. That
Yeah.
like during the relationship period or the period that led up to the relationship where I was like in love with her for 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm like still very happy about it, and I still think that I'm glad I did all those things.
Absolutely.
And we had all those
No
experiences.
regrets.
Yes, I don't care about how much I gave,
Yeah.
how much sacrifices I did, and I think she would also think the same way. But I was thinking about it, like how much I was giving.
Yeah.
Like because if I knew that she was that type of person,
You wouldn't
then
give that
I
much.
wouldn't also give that much in the first place as
When
well.
that
That is
happened,
love.
When you start to think like that after it finishes, right? Like when everything collapsed, you said that, how much did I really give to it? Or when you were giving, you thought about it.
If your love for that person has ended, then you would start thinking that way.
Why
Yeah,
or what I
like,
would give.
which wasn't the reason why we broke up, by the way.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that could happen.
But if you think about it, I feel sorry for whoever been given so much and not
See-
hasn't given their part. I feel sad for that person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really
think
feel.
you know, I don't feel sad for that person. I feel sad for the other person who didn't really evaluate the situation right and who didn't really value
But
the things
logical,
that
John.
gave it. Logic because logic because seriously, yeah, it's okay. We can say. Imagine you are a guy a poor guy, let's say, right, or a guy who's looking for a job. I came to you, I gave you the best position, best company, best salary, and then you say no, I don't want it. Who lost really? Me or you? Of course me. So the guy any guy when he goes into a relationship and he gives everything into it, who did really lose who?
But you have to understand that there's another person with another emotions of roller coasters, and they need to regulate their emotion. You
Of
don't
course.
know if they are available emotionally. You don't know how they are thinking. You don't know how they are thinking of the other person.
Yeah.
They could have so many things, and the best thing, they might not be suitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also. But listen, 50%, 50%. I always thought about like that. When you go into a relationship before marriage, before the full commitment,
Right.
it's 50-50. It's always 50-50. You don't know what's gonna happen. You start with the person, 1 month, it's beautiful. 2nd month, am I really going to do this? 3rd month, no, I'm sorry, that's it. I can't go on. So, the past 3 months you have been giving a lot of things, of course, feelings, money, time, everything. So,
True investment.
exactly. So, as you said, it's like you're investing in some company. You don't know if the stocks are going up or going down. So, it's
Right.
just 50-50. You read, you analyze, and according to that, you keep on. Am I gonna put more money into it, or I'm gonna just stop my investing into this
Like so moderating.
company?
kind
Yes,
of.
exactly.
Right.
Going back to the question Furkan asked me, I think I always believed in my life givers are the most successful people in life.
Oh my God! I didn't know that.
Whether it's no,
Wow,
really.
that's me, baby.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yes,
So
very nice.
whether it's business
Yeah.
or relationships or everything. Why? Because Furkan said that he said something so beautiful that if you are giving all the time, who will be giving you at the end of the day? One day you will run out, and then you will take you want to take something from someone. But I think it's the opposite. You are the giver. You know how to create.
You're
things.
never empty.
You're never empty. So, for example, as let's say an employee, a business owner, a relationship, and everything, when you are a giver, your mindset is thinking always creating. The other person consuming. So who needs who?
My production is endless.
My production is endless. That's exactly what's the case is. So the person who's in front of me, if she or he is a taker, actually you are benefiting from me. I'm not benefiting from you.
That's why I think Teacher Alpar is a giver.
That's why Teacher Alper,
Definitely.
when we spoke about like who lost who, 100%. Like I believe in every relationship, in every business, in anything in life. If you are a giver, always takers are losers. Matchmakers in the second place, givers will always be the winners. If not today, of course, you will be hurt whether in business or relationship, you will be hurt. Givers will always have this pain in their heart.
I don't like the terms like winning and losing when talking about love. Actually, that sounds like it is some kind of a work and career kind of thing. But
When
love defies all of those things, and it cannot be framed into those terminology.
When I say lose and winning, it has so many meanings. Like I don't mean like
because
losing.
I don't think I've lost anything, and I don't think that the other person has lost anything.
Exactly.
As well. We just weren't meant to be in that sense. Perhaps.
When I say lose, it doesn't mean in a negative way. For example, let's say I lost weight. It's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes even again mindset. When I think not you, people, some people, negative people, let's say specifically, when they go into relationship, once they get out from the relationship, what do they say? I lost my money, I lost my time, I lost my feelings. Yes, but other person, he says that, he speaks about it proudly, right? Like Alfred did.
Yeah.
Because he's not ashamed of what he did. He's proud of it. I gave and I learned and I grow up and it's amazing for me.
Metaphorically speaking, giving is like a running, because when you run so fast and when you run without stopping, it is not possible to tired, right? You will get tired. So it means that giving, when you give lots of things, at the end of the day you will have nothing to give. It is like the metaphorically the same with the running as well. But the thing is, when you run without stopping, without pausing, you will get tired, but you will take any outside extras. Water, food. So we can also connect with these things, outside things, within real life and the real relationship. When you give so much, but if you have nothing to receive, you will in search of, and you will want anything from outside, anyone's compliments.
He had some nice point here. I think he meant to say, don't run so fast. Take a step by step. You can run slowly so that you can take stuff on the side.
Don't be a sprinter, be a marathoner.
We have reached the end of our podcast. We are no experts in relationships. We are English teachers and coaches and have different aspects in life, but our experiences might resonate with yours. So we're gonna start giving you our own subjective personal experiences, might assist you in your own. From my own personal experience is that if you were able to find a person that you can find everything you want in, if that person carries all the traits, characteristics, might carry also negative ones that you might not like, because there's nothing perfect, like teacher Amir mentioned. And from my experience, because I've been married for a long time and in a relationship as well, of course, I think just find the person and be able to be communicative, connected, interested all the time, to have a deep, thoughtful, insightful conversations. Stay curious. Teacher Furkan mentioned that, was beautiful. Curiosity is essential. You can never be too transparent and too over communicative, because there is always something new to discover. And I think the other person would get bored from you if you are not try to bring new things to the table. And in that sense, you are keeping your relationship, the excitement level of a relationship, anything extra, anything more, it will be something different, something exciting. And I really think if you really want to be with the right person, or you know that this is the right person, I think you would want everybody to be jealous from that person.
The only advice that I can give to anybody who is in a relationship or in love with somebody is just this. If you are in a relationship and you are having difficulty going through some tough times and like trying to find your way through those difficulties, is that take your time while making big decisions, because those decisions might haunt you back later. So just make sure that you think about everything thoroughly, and then kind of trust yourself that you made the right decision only when you are sure, you are confident that you have thought about it quite enough.
The more you pretend, the more you lose something in a relationship. And don't ask how do I know. And if you are not yourself, you realize that you are in a competitive relationship. And when you're in a competitive relationship, there should be a winner. But I must clearly say that there is no winner in love.
I would like to give two advices. One for the people who are not in a relationship, and the other is for people who are in a relationship or who are struggling through the relationship. They don't know if should I choose this person or should I move away or not. First advice for the ones who are not in a relationship, I would like to advise you that stay single till it's easy and simple. Don't risk to go into a relationship just because you are alone. You are not going into a friendship, or you are not going into a hangout. If you feel bored, go out, find a hobby, play basketball, play volleyball, find new things to do, but don't go and play with people's heart, whether it's female or male. People's heart are not made to be played with. It's valued. You have to be careful with it. And it's also going back to you, because life is karma, so whatever you do with people, it will come back to you. My second advice for the people who are struggling in a relationship or not really sure if they have to go with this person or not, ask yourself this question: if this person leaves me, or if I break up with this person, would I find the same person again? Would I meet this kind of person again, the same character, the same beautiful traits that he has? Yes or no? If no, then don't leave him. Don't leave her. Try your best to go back or to fix things up. If yes, then you are not supposed to be in this relationship. At the end, I would like to thank my lovely colleagues and friends who joined me on this podcast. Teacher Alper, for example, big thanks because he hosted us here.
Welcome. It was
Teacher Ali, who operated and moderated everything, and Teacher Furkan, who shared all the beautiful ideas with us. It was an honor for me to join you guys. It was a beautiful journey.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful time we spent together. I hope we do it in the future also.
There is no question. We must do it.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like how much we had fun. How much we laughed.
Absolutely.
At the same time, the aspect, like I've actually seen you guys talk about topics that usually I don't find you comfortable talking about.
Of course.
And I just found like some topics. If we go all back and check it out, it will be very fruitful.
Absolutely.
Future podcast definitely is going to be more content, more topics, more things in depth, and most importantly things that are related to our profession as a instructors, teachers, coaches of English language on how to improve and everything else. So there's a lot coming up, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
That was lovely. Even though I've been making content for a long time, I never thought I'm going to have a content with a bunch of people like yourselves. It was an honor, honestly. This is going to wrap up today's conversation in terms of the topics and the segments that we have. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope we have added some value. I hope we haven't wasted your time. And I am sure that whatever was discussed and mentioned today was completely a subjective experiences from our personal life, career, high school, everything back until this point. And I'll end this by saying that check out our Instagram pages.
Absolutely.
Make sure to follow, subscribe the podcast channel, YouTube channel, whatever you guys are watching us from. Subscribe, like, and share. And I hope not only me going to continue and proceed making content, but those three guys will continue as well. As I might say, and if you allow me to mention that, it's going to be your first time probably.
Podcast, absolutely.
Podcast,
absolutely. Content creating,
Just content creating wise, not just podcast. This is my first experience, and unfiltered almost.
I think you've like done a great job, and we had fun.
The
element of comfortability was important. I think otherwise we would not be able to.
Absolutely, and because again we know each other for quite a long time.
That's the main element.
It's really beautiful to always share our ideas together. I'd really love
again. Thank you very much. That's the end of our podcast. Appreciate it. Subscribe, like, and share, and follow.
Let us know if you have any ideas about love, relationships, advices. Let us know in the comments. Write down your experiences, whatever you have. We will read them again. We will talk about them maybe later on another episode. Take care of yourselves.
And see you guys on the next episode.
See you! It's done! Wow. First podcast, people. First podcast. God damn it. Wow. Very good. Yes. So cool. So weird. You have no idea. Why are you warm?